So now this is the education section. So as you'll see, it starts us with whatever your current or most recent high school is. So I already have Butler High School listed. If I needed to change it, or when you're going to add your school initially, you're just going to hit the add button and you're going to start searching the name and the schools will pop up. And this actually starts giving me schools based on what's closest to the information that I've already put in the system. So based on my address, it gave me some of these local schools. As we scroll down, you'll see that it asks a few questions about your high school. So it's going to ask when you started, and you guys all started September of 2017. It is not a boarding school. Yes, you will graduate. You're anticipated to graduate in June of 2021. And in most cases, you students are saying that there is no change in progression. Um, there are some cases where somebody might graduate early or late or might have needed to take time off in between, but I believe most of you are in that situation where you are doing this in 4 years. So you would just hit no change in progression and you'd continue. Once it loads, it's going to take us in to ask about any other high schools that you attended. And I'm going to say no. So I'm going to put 0. But if you did have one another school that you attended, you would just say 1. And then you would have to click find school and again search for the name. And then you'd be able to add it. Once you do add the school, it's probably going to ask for more details about what years you went there and all of that information. But just follow through. And if, again, you have any questions throughout this, you can always reach out to us as your counselors. Colleges or universities. So this, in most cases, is going to be 0. If there are specific classes that you've taken, whether it's through dual enrollment or something like that, I would say really just come down and talk to your counselor about what's the best way to fit that. This does not include AP level classes. I think sometimes students know that their AP classes are college level, but this is specifically classes that are being issued by the colleges. So in most cases, students are going to say no colleges listed here, and then we're going to hit continue. And the grade section, this is the one that I like to walk my students through a little bit just because the information is so specific. So in your class, you guys are a class of 123 students. We do exact class ranking. If you don't know your class rank, you can feel free to reach out, but I believe you should have access to that information through the student portal. If not, just let me know. But your class rank you would be able to list. We do use a weighted ranking system. Our GPA scale is out of 4.0, and that is also weighted. You'll see that that's another question coming up. And I just put in a 3.85 GPA, but you could put in whatever is appropriate. We actually give you access, or we have access to both your weighted and unweighted GPA, but for these purposes, you're going to use the weighted GPA. So that's the information that you would need there. And as we continue, it'll start asking about some other details like the classes that you're taking. Just to simplify it, I only listed one course and I said that it was a semester course or quarter course. You can pick whichever is most appropriate. Realistically, our courses are done for the course of the full year, but that's not an option here. So I just said that we do semester courses. Um, and then I put phys ed and health as one class together. It asks you if there are levels. In this case, it's a regular class, which means that I can either say that it's regular standard or I can even leave it blank. Um, and then it asks for what are the options. So since I listed semesters, is this a class that's full year, first semester, second semester? And so I clicked full year. Um, if I went in and added 2 classes, then it's going to ask you for what's the name of the next class and all of that information as well. But I just figured it would keep it a little bit simpler just so I could show you what information you have to put in for a class um, without making you go through listening to me explain all 6 or 7 classes. And then I'm going to hit continue. The next thing you'll see is coming up is for honors. And there are a couple different honors that I think make sense to put in here. And so I actually put in National Honor Society. But as you put in the title of any honor, It's going to ask you what grades did you earn this and what level was this available. So I'm actually going to remove the check mark for school because this is a national level of recognition. It is also recognized in the school, but I think we're looking for the highest level of recognition. I also put down honor roll, and I checked off that I got that every year, and that was strictly a school-based recognition. You'll notice that there's this little arrow here. So what they allow you to do is kind of prioritize the honors that you put in. So if you wanted to say, you know what, honor roll was something that I got more years than National Honor Society, so I'm going to say that honor roll is my number one. And then as you scroll down, National Honor Society now is underneath it as the honor number two. You can always add a couple more. I think for the most part, these are the most common honors that can be listed. And strictly this is about academics. So I'm going to just leave it as those two, and I'm going to hit continue. The next thing is asking for any community-based organizations that are providing you free assistance with your application process. In most cases, you guys are all working with your counselors in the school, so that would be no outside community organizations. So I just put 0 and I'm going to hit continue. And then the last thing that it asks under education is for career interests and the degree that you're planning to do. So in my case, I decided to say that I'm planning on pursuing my master's degree because I want to be a school counselor. I'm sure you guys can figure out why I would decide to put that in there. I went through this one a little bit quickly just because I had already pre-selected a lot of the answers. So please feel free to go through and review anything. And if there are kind of quirks to your specific academic history, again, you can always reach out to us as your counselors, and we're happy to help you through it. This, I just figure, can help give you a pretty general guideline for how this goes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And because I filled out all of those sections, there should be a green check mark, but it's missing for right now. So let me find out why. Oh, there it is. So now that I've completed all of it, you'll see that this education check mark is there. From the previous sections, I did not complete each section or every question within the section, which is why it's not checked off. But I did go through everything under education, so that's why it has a check there. And then from here, we're going to move into testing. And so I'll open that up in the next video.